Mary Kay, the off-season portion of the Browns workouts were scheduled to begin. A lot of the teams have said they're not going to do the voluntary in-person things. Where does that stand? It's not a surprise, but what are the players thinking, and where does that stand league-wide?
Well, first of all, they have right in their own midst J.C. Tretter, who is the president of the NFLPA, the brilliant president of the NFLPA. He's so smart. He's so good at what he does. And he fiercely protects his players. And that's what he's trying to do here. That's what the union is trying to do. And last year, they were able to make it all the way through to the Super Bowl, not the Browns. I mean, the NFL went from training camp and crowned a Super Bowl champion because, in part, they believe that they did not have an in-person offseason program. They didn't have mini camps. They didn't even have preseason games. So I actually asked them today on a conference call, are you trying to also avoid having a mandatory mini camp? And the answer was yes. They don't even want to do that. They, that's going to have to be collectively bargained, but they will take that to the table, and they will take preseason games to the table. I think they will try to get those reduced, and maybe they'll end up at something. I mean, somewhere at the table, they will discuss the 3 preseason games and the mandatory minicamp and arrive at something that everybody can feel comfortable with. But the Browns, of course, were going to take the lead in not going to these voluntary in-person OTAs with JC right in their midst as the president. So for sure, they were going to be one of the teams that said, we are not going to do this. And why? Because in person, 23% of missed time injuries have been reduced, and 30% of concussions have been reduced by how they did things last year.
Yeah, and if you think about it from the player's perspective, injuries cut into their career. So I completely get the thought process by the Players Association being, if these things are injuring our players, our body, our union, and cutting short their careers, yeah, let's not do them. The play did not suffer by eliminating them a year ago.
No, they didn't, and that is what these guys will argue. And they gave the NFL their 17th game, and so now I think they're going to ask for some things in return. And I really think that if nothing else, I think that they will at least try really hard to eliminate that minicamp so that players don't have to show up in Berea or wherever they're training until the very end of July or the beginning of August, just like they did last year. The other thing is they don't necessarily want to be tracked and traced and tested and can't leave their house and do all those kinds of things. So I think that was another thing. That's why the NFL came out and said, we're not going to be penalizing players during the offseason workout for COVID violations. And, that might have been another factor.